Hey Golf Gang, and welcome to a Path of Exile video. Today we are concentrating on the Baby Endless Heist character. That is the level 59 to 60 Endless Heist character that I usually run on League Start and then through the League to generate a ton of chaos. You generate the chaos primarily by running the chaos recipe tool. A video to how to run that is linked on the card there. Hopefully that'll help you out. Now I know the league time on that video is old, but everything in that video is still relevant, and it will help you set up the chaos recipe tool if you've never done it before. So over the last 3 days I have done a lot of testing. There's a lot of new people coming over to the Heist train to earn some currency, or because it's new, or because they themselves are a new player, and they ask me why 59 to 60, why not 60 to 61, because it opens up a lot of options for uniques, you get one more passive point, etc, etc. And the reason for running 59 to 60, and I've tested this over the last 3 days, is down to contract availability. Now the primary reason to run a Baby Endless Heist strategy on League Start in softcore trade is to generate uniques, to sell, and to generate a ton of chaos to buy items that become more expensive, such as level 1 enlightens, exalted orbs, and any other item that could become more expensive as the league goes on. Also, you get to sell the low level uniques to characters that are progressing through League Start quite quickly. You can sell your fossils that are generated, and you can sell the resonators that you might find. Because at League Start, very few people are League starting Delve. They are League starting to get to maps to generate sulfite to go to Delve. Whereas on for us, we do it the other way around. We get the fossils, we get the resonators to sell. You can only get socket 1 and 2 socket resonators, but at League Start that's enough. So with that out of the way, let's look on to the other things. Apologies, I've got a really dry throat today. I've been chugging water all morning and it's not cleared it. So now when you level up, level down, obviously Wakano refreshes the vendor and you get a choice of contracts to buy, and the ideal contracts to buy are 4 types of contract. We buy brute force, we buy deception, agility, and lockpicking. We do not buy demolition, perception, and counter thaumaturgy, and here's why. To get through the chaos recipe quick, we want to be looking at what drops from the big chests. Now on brute force tile sets, your big chests are either going to be uniques, which we can open and then sell to trade, or weapons, which we need. I've got mine set on 10 sets, so I need 20 weapons. Now a bow is 2 weapons, otherwise you're looking for these 1 versus 3 weapons because of space in your bags and in your quad tab, or tabs depending on how you set up your recipe. And that's where you get your weapons from. Additionally, from the little chest you can drop other things that you'll need for the chaos recipe. You can also drop orbs of fusing and jewelers a lot in there, because it's primarily geared towards weapons. That's the reason for running brute force. We run deception for the armor to help us get our gloves, boots and helms, and div cards. Now although stacked decks are classed as currency, stacked decks can come out of div card large chests as well, and then this is another reason why 59 to 60 endless heist is better than 60 to 61, because over the last few days I have found very few deception contracts. I also found very few agility. Now the reason we run agility, the big chests in agility can be armor, essences, and question mark, which is a plethora of different items can be in that chest. Anything can be in that chest. And on the way out, like deception, it has no doors, it only has the laser beams. And if you're following my guides, you will have a cast when damage taken molten shell setup, and you'll put molten shell on your bar so you can keep an eye on its cooldown. If you come to a laser beam trap and your molten shell is not on cooldown, you can run through it. Just keep an eye on your life, because sometimes it can still do a ton of damage, and you just hit your life flask and you're done and you're out. So speed is definitely of the essence on a Baby Endless Heist. So that's why we run agility. And then finally, lockpicking. Lockpicking is your jewelry and your currency. Yes, and because exalted shards and orbs cannot drop at this item level, jewelry is better than currency, because we need our amulets and rings for the chaos recipe, and then you open the currency boxes. Now this is all based on the large chests, not the small chests. In Baby Endless Heist, you're opening as many chests as possible. You do want the big chests first, and then you can run around and get your smaller ones. When you're running brute force, you have Tibbs, and at League Start your primary concern is to get Tibbs to level 5 in brute force, so you can then open 2 chests. And the idea is you run in, you unlock the reward rooms, but you do not get the big chests. You open up all the small chests and then set off the alarm, and then open the big chests after the alarm has gone off, saving you alert level. That's the process. So that's the 4 contracts we want. Why don't we run demolition and perception and counter thaumaturgy? I don't know one have one in the vendor, as you can see. So we'll do counter thaumaturgy first. Why don't we run counter thaumaturgy? Because of the trap rooms. It's got sigils on the floor, and you have to wait for the NPC to disarm the traps, but it doesn't disarm the entire room. It only disarms a pathway, which you then have to navigate, and if you hit one of the sigils, you take a ton of damage. Possibly with the mobs running around as well, you may even die, losing your contract and losing whatever you've picked up. We don't want that, so don't run counter thorn. Perception. We don't run perception because of the alert towers. Now, with the alert towers, you can come across a corridor with these alert towers in. You have to wait for the NPC to target them, so you can then kill it. That's time wasted. Or you can attempt to run through it and hope you don't get hit by them. If you don't, fantastic. If you do, that's alert level lost. That you could be opening chests. Again, it's a lot of slowing down. Demolition. At this level, we want to be opening as many chests as possible, so we don't run Vindiri, because the chance to double up is not worth the chance of doubling the alert level. So we would run Tibbs, and then you have to wait for the NPC to set up the bomb, which can be interrupted, and then you have to wait for them to blow up, and sometimes it can bug out. So you have to run halfway across a contract to reset the NPC to run back, and then they blow up the bomb. Again, it's time wasted. We don't want time being wasted here. We want to be in and out as quickly as possible. So that's why we don't run. On Baby Endless Heist, you never run perception, counter thaumaturgy, or demolition contracts. So back to the reason why 59 to 60 is better than 60 to 61, and I assume therefore 61 to 62. If you're running above 61 to 62, you're running normal heist, and you might as well go to 66, 67, 67, 68. Contract availability from the vendor as you increase in level gets harder. You get more contracts of different types. Over the last 3 days of testing, I've only seen 1 deception and 2 agility to buy from the vendor. Tons of brute force and lockpicking, but very few agility and deception. Tons of engineering, perception, counter thaumaturgy, all the ones we don't want. Yes, going up to 60 to 61 opens up the amulet slot, because you can start using a ton of uniques that are limited to level 60, such as Ashes and Omni. Both are required level 60. If you have the currency or are lucky enough to get one on your journeys, you can throw it on your Baby Heist character. Not sure why you would, but there's an option. And you get that another passive point, but it's not worth losing out on completing your chaos recipe tool in under 45 minutes, maybe even half an hour if you're lucky, depending on how many sets you've chosen. I do 10 sets, so my average is about 35 to 45 minutes on most days. You are going to get that occasional one where you cannot find like 2 or 3 gloves or 2 or 3 boots or 2 or 3 helms. These are the 3 hardest ones to get. So yeah, you've got all of that to consider. Now, I have done Baby Heist on 4-link Quill Reins and Queen of the Forest. 6 links are not needed, so again, that's not an issue in case you're looking at this. And also, this is standard, so my gear is going to be a bit OP. So my main reason for coming to you in this video is to, over the last 3 days, give you my testing details. Now, I didn't create a spreadsheet or anything. I didn't think about it at the time, and I'm not even sure what that would show. But please take it on faith that running 60 to 61 is not worth it for this character, despite the extra passive point and the ability to have better gear. It is just not worth losing out on the amount of chaos that you could earn from running the chaos recipe. Additionally, I have changed the Baby Heist build slightly. Again, this is in 3.18. We'll have to wait for patch notes for 3.19. But if you're running any of the private leagues that are coming up, such as Anomaly this weekend, then you could run this scenario. I'm not sure when Bingo League is or was. I stopped playing that a few leagues ago. But again, there's other private leagues coming up. Or just if you want to test it out in League now, there's nothing stopping you. You can make a ton of currency now. I have taken off the 50 max life mastery here and the 10% increased max life / reduced recovery rate here, and pumped them into this 8% increased max mana and the soul siphon. The reason for doing this is because now it gives us more mana, so we can actually do our turrets, our blister totem was the word I was looking for, and self-cast Toxic Rain easier. So we are going to run a contract. Oh, someone's talking to me in Discord about Heist. How relevant is that? Nice. So we're going to pick up this deception contract. Yeah, we're going to pick up this deception contract. No, we're going to pick up the agility one because I want to show you the beams. Hopefully we'll get some. And this is when I keep hydrated, because as that opens, I grab a drink. There we go. Is that tunnel tile set again? Yep, I've had this tile set more often than not. There we go. Agility, we've got essence. I'm not going to pick the essence up because this is in standard and I don't need them. So alternatively, there we go. 3 turrets down and self-cast, which will then proc our Toxic Rain from our Lionized Paws, and we're not out of mana. Now we've got the big chests. There's the weapons, low level gems for turning to the vendor to get our GCPs to either sell or use on our own gems, especially if you're going to be running a blueprint scenario farm process. Then you can get all the alt quality gems and turn them into 20%. I do not suggest selling alt gems unless they are 20%. You make more money if they're 20%. Right, yeah, I've got enough alert level. Ring, nice. Through here. That's my cat. He's hungry. Right, there we go. Right, so come through here. I'm checking. Run through, hit the thing. There we go. That's that one done. Run through. Wait for molten shell. Come off cooldown. There it goes. And through. They were quite close together. Normally they're not that close, so you have time for molten shell to come off cooldown, or alternatively you can just use the NPC to deactivate the beams and do that. throw that in there. Gems go in there for later sell. Currency, bam. Do I have that in my collection? No, right, in collection, bam. Okay, so you can see how agility is run, and you can see the kind of materials you get. You get this bug sometimes where it won't fetch from the API, so you have to wait a little while. But that's effectively the agility contract, and that's why we do 59 to 60 Baby Endless Heist. I hope you found this video informative and helps you to decide what is the best level for your baby heist strategy if you run one. More videos coming out once we get patch notes. I'll be updating all the builds. I'll be putting out a video about how the patch notes affects Heist. Until that time, stay safe in Royal Harbour. I'll see you in the next one.